Something else you need to know for the exam is the concept of referential integrity and how that applies to BigQuery. To start, let's talk about the relational model. So let's say we have three tables: a customers table, an orders table, and a products table. The whole idea behind relational databases is that data should be organized into tables like this, each one representing a specific entity, such as in this case having one for customers, one for orders, and one for products. Then the relational database models the relationships between these real-world entities through keys. This ensures that the data is organized and related meaningfully and coherently. So we're going to talk about these keys next and kind of build up to this concept of referential integrity. A primary key is a column or set of columns that uniquely identifies each row in a table. In the customers table, the primary key is customer ID. In the orders table, the primary key is order ID. And in the products table, the primary key is product ID. These are what uniquely identify each row in their tables. Now for foreign keys. A foreign key is a column in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. So it is this foreign key that establishes the relationship between two tables, or more specifically, their entries. If we look again at our customers table and our orders table, we can see that the orders table has a foreign key in the column customer ID. What this does is it links each orders entry to a customer's entry. Each entry in the orders table is considered the child, and its corresponding entry in the customers table is considered the parent. And when an orders entry does not have a customer's entry, or more generally when a child does not have a parent, we would call that orders entry an orphaned entry or an orphaned record. We usually want to prevent orphaned records. So to understand this a bit better, let's go back to our customers table and our orders table. In this case though, I've added a row to each table. In the orders table, this new row has a customer ID of 101, which if we look at the customers table, actually does not exist in that table. There is no row in the customers table with customer ID 101. So this row, this entry in the orders table would be an orphaned record. It does not have a parent in the customers table with a matching customer ID primary key. The principle of preventing orphaned records is called referential integrity. Referential integrity is the principle of foreign key values always corresponding to valid entries in the parent table. This ensures data consistency across tables. So make sure you understand this. This is a fundamental concept in databases, and this principle could be tested on the exam. So here's an example question dealing with this concept that could show up on the exam. The scenario is as follows. You have a stores table with a primary key, store ID, and a transaction logs table that records transactions happening in those stores. The problem is that without any constraints, there's a risk of orphaned records, transactions referring to stores, that don't exist. So how do you prevent orphaned records in the transaction logs table? The answer is to define a foreign key in the transaction logs table that references the primary key, store ID, in the stores table This constraint ensures that every store ID in the transaction logs table must exist in the stores table. And if a store is deleted, you can choose how to handle any related records, such as through cascading deletes or other policies, to maintain that data integrity. That concludes our discussion of referential integrity in BigQuery.